First executive producer and showrunner, Jeff Pinkner. Next we have his fellow showrunner, executive producer, J.H. Wyman. The man who plays Peter Bishop, Joshua Jackson. And where would Peter be without good old dad, Walter Bishop, John Noble. She plays Meana Sharp, Blair Brown. And he rocks a pair of glasses, Lincoln Lee, Seth Gable. Welcome, guys. So I guess I'll start with what we just watched and ask Jeff and JH, what the hell is going on here?
That was a sneak peek to the next episode, 415, a short story about love.
Directed by...
Yeah, something like that.
He went Canadian all of a sudden. Directed by Joel for his first episode.
But we wanted to show you it because, you know, to us, our fans are everything. We want to show you that first and give you a little preview of what's going on next week when the episode airs. It's a very important episode to us because it sort of brings together a lot of the ideas that we've been working towards throughout many seasons. And hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of it, and we certainly hope you enjoyed what you have just seen. So.
Just, I guess for...
I have to say real quick, we've done about a half dozen of these, and literally every time the moderator has been on that side. So this is like...
This is the alternate universe,
right?
man.
Yeah. And also, first of all, thank you all so much for coming.
Yeah.
You know, really for any of the cast members, when you watch stuff like that, you're on the set, you see all the weird corpses, the makeup. At this point, are you just kind of used to all the weirdness you see on the set of Fringe, or do you get thrown when you see some of that stuff?
It's freaky. It's really freaky. If we got used to it, that would be really wrong. I mean, I have to remind myself when we just watched that clip. I mean, I had to turn my head away because it's so disturbing when you see it. When it's on set, at least sometimes you can smell that it's makeup. There's a weird smell to it, so you remember, okay, this isn't real. I'm just pretending it's real. But then when you see it on TV, I'm like, you guys let your kids watch this?
I like it.
You like it?
John doesn't have to get used to the weirdness. He is the weirdness on set.
Very true. So, we're coming out of a very big episode. The last one that aired for us was obviously a big episode. A lot happened. Josh, I'm just curious, after, Olivia's had these memories that she shouldn't have, and September kind of told him about this pairing that, was almost fated to happen or should happen. Is he still thinking that he's in the wrong universe, or is he starting to think, maybe this is the right universe, but things are off? Where's he at with that?
Oh, I can't answer you. I think as of the last episode that aired, he definitely thinks, no, I can't answer you. Sorry.
You don't see I have a gun on the
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, so what happens is, oh god,
it's a cattle prod.
Well, John, let me ask you, the first couple seasons there's a lot of Peter and Walter sort of mending their relationship after years, and at first Walter was trying so hard and Peter was resistant. This season, what's it been like for you to kind of play the opposite, at least in the early episodes where Walter was the one really pushing him away? Was it just kind of strange to take a whole different take on the whole dynamic there?
The weirdest part of season 4 was the beginning, which was the world without Peter and without memory of Peter. So what I had and the other actors had to do was create a completely new persona, one that didn't have for Walter this love that he felt for the boy. So that's why he was such a sort of sad, bleak, still strange and crazy, but he wasn't funny anymore. And that was because he didn't have the love in his life. And I think we saw that with all the characters. So it was a great way to start the season, but I was glad we got out of it because it was so bleak. Sort of for Walter just to be in that closed space was quite demanding.
So what's interesting for us is, and you guys you get to see it, but we'll call them and we'll say, okay, you need to invent a new version of a character that you've been playing.
Yeah.
And for everyone on stage, aside from Josh, it's happened several times, it's sort of an acting masterclass to watch all of them sort of like invent a character and then have to invent a different variation of the character, remember who they are and how they are, and create this entire backstory. And I don't think, they all get a lot of credit, but I don't think any of them get enough credit for what a spectacular.
This has been a big season for you in that regard, because you've kind of been thrown two very different versions of Meana to play. One much warmer than we've seen, and now the other much nastier. I would assume that's got to be very exciting for you as an actress, although maybe a little confusing when you're playing the same character, but completely different variations.
It was interesting in the beginning because I was waiting for my alternate one to be thinking, who's she going to be? Is she going to be sort of, crazy bag woman out of control? And then there it was, and she looks the same, she sounds the same, she talks. It was like, oh man, this is really disappointing. And then I realized, of course, the payoff was huge. But the interesting thing, the task was, there's part of you that wants to kind of tip you, like, pay attention, this is Meana, this is not Meana, this is the mean one. And you couldn't do it. In fact, once we did a take it, we had to do it again because I'd sort of done a little, it was like, no. So it was interesting to have to stay restrained. But for me, this season started out now being a sort of surrogate mother for Olivia. It was really nice to be able to open up to that.
On Fringe, because there's so many possibilities and, there's imposters and different versions of people, I feel like I have to ask, can we feel safe to say that the evil Meana, the one working with Mr. Jones, is just the alternate universe version, that's not more complex than that?
As opposed to what?
As opposed to, her being, one of the, imposters, her not being even a person, really. Shapeshifter, yeah.
No, it's fair to say she was a person.
She's a person, yeah. Okay. We actually, Blair was this episode, right? She's, always saying, well, what am I going to do? And we just didn't want to make it, well, everybody gets a doppelganger and you'll get yours too. It had to be something that that we really was worthy of her, because she's such an incredible performer. We wanted something that would be organic to the story. That's something that she sink her teeth into, and something that was well worth the waiting. So hopefully we delivered on that front, and it's so nice to hear her actually say it, because she's never told us that she liked it.
but unlike Bo, Olivia, or Walternate, she did coin the phrase Meana, which is spectacular.
Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Seth, even though you joined the show a couple years in and you've already played 3 versions of your own character, was that like a very quick sort of learning course? And this is how it works on Fringe, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
4 versions.
4 versions?
Yeah.
I forgot about one.
Wait, is this a 4th we haven't seen?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, I went off of a show where I was playing like a 25-year-old playboy who made out with Lucy Liu a lot, which was awesome. To this, and at first...
So this was a major step down, is what you're saying.
we could have a casting session, right? Maybe bring her on. To this, where I was playing an FBI agent, and I really wasn't sure, going from that young, spoiled guy, that I could kind of pull off being this militaristic character that was the Alt Lincoln. And I saw the first episode, and I was sure that I was going to suck, and I was going to be terrible, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, I pulled it off.
That's why you hired him.
And then they asked me to come back, and then that was kind of a big confidence boost, and I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. And then by the time I got the extra characters, I was in the world of the show and was just excited to be a part of it, and had a chance to watch all these incredible actors on the show and learn from them, that when it was my turn, I felt ready.
Now, we've talked a lot, Josh, about how you always thought maybe it was Peter's destiny to be an observer, and that maybe he was tied into all that. And then the last episode kind of put a new wrinkle on it where, with September telling him all this stuff about the observers and they're from the future, and Peter and Olivia sort of them wanting to pair them together, I almost was extrapolating that they're genetically the parents of the observers.
Sort of the observer, Adam and Eve.
Yes. Do you think that might be like a nice variation on him being an observer?
I'm still waiting to shave. We got 1 episode left. I'm just saying.
So the raffle we were talking about, the winner is going to come up here and
Shave my head. I'm down.
Yeah, how much do you know, I know talking to you, Josh, like you do your fair share of observation and speculation about the show, just like us who are fans watching. Do you guys on set have these conversations where you're, because especially the show you're on where it has all the different multiple universes where you start to talk about, well, if this means this, then how does this connect with this?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have our knitting circle because these guys aren't up in Vancouver, so we have no direct tap to the source.
We avoid them.
Yeah, exactly, at all costs. That's why they're at this separate table. We're not allowed to cross that line.
Safely go away.
So yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time, but for this year, I'll be honest, more than speculation, I feel like we've spent quite a bit of time making sure that we know where we are.
Yeah.
Because it's gotten so complex now between, like you were saying, an entirely new version of the relationship between the father and son that's upside down, and that's true multiplied through, and then you have the alternate universe versions of all of those people with some of that history coming through and lots of it not. So it's been much less about speculating what the future is and just making sure that we're honoring the past, I think, this year.